Hi and hello, and thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Preeti Rao and I am both a real estate and a mortgage broker for close to 20 years. Last week, I told you a true story on how a landlord got caught in a bad faith N12 situation. Today, let's talk about rent increases and how to get rid of that tenant without any animosity, if that's even possible. Stay till the very end because I have a perfect solution for you. But first, you know the drill. Make sure to like, share, subscribe and tap that bell icon. It gets me motivated to keep you up to date with everything real estate. Now, suppose you signed a 1-year lease agreement with a tenant on your investment condo. The lease is up for renewal next month. The tenant has always paid his rent on time and didn't do anything wrong, but you want him out of the unit. Maybe because the unit is under rent control and the rent you are collecting is a couple of $100 below the market rent right now. Maybe because you want to sell the unit and you think you cannot sell it at a higher price without the tenant in there. Now, the question is, can you simply refuse to renew the lease and ask the tenant to leave at the end of the 1-year lease term? Not really. It does not matter whether you agree to renew the lease for another term or not. The tenant automatically becomes a month-to-month tenant. That means so long as the tenant doesn't break any condo bylaws and always pays the rent on time, he is entitled to stay in the unit for as long as he wants. Now, is there any way to evict the tenant gracefully? Well, if you go by the books, there are two official ways. Number one, you or your immediate family member wants to move into the rental unit and occupy it for at least 1 year. In this case, you have to pay your tenant an amount equal to 1 month's rent as compensation. Alternately, you can offer the tenants another rental unit that you own, but it must be acceptable to the tenant. Anyways, I don't think you want to live in your investment unit for a year. So this is obviously not going to work. So let's move on to number two. You sell the unit and the buyer or the buyer's immediate family wants to live in the unit. In this case, the buyer is not required to stay in the unit for a minimum of 1 year, and that tenant is not entitled to any compensation. This would work perfectly fine if you sell the unit to a buyer who is actually an end user. If you sell it to an investor, the investor must assume the existing tenant at the current rent. And this gets challenging, especially if the current rent is below market and the unit is under rent control. But here's the secret that I want you to know. The official methods are the most ineffective strategies to resolve a conflict. Why? Because the official methods are very cold and very dry. I often find that they tend to have a reverse effect, making people more irritated and more frustrated. Here's one of the most common mistakes that I see landlords make every time. They find it hard to break the news to the tenant, so they put it in an email. I am planning to sell my unit, and when the unit is sold to the end user, you will have to vacate the unit. Now, how would you feel if you were the tenant and you got that email? Not very happy, right? Would you be very accommodative during the showing process? Probably not. Well, by the book, you have the right to decline a showing. You see, things are not going to work out very well. But what if, as the landlord, you actually talk to the tenant instead? Say, look, I need to sell my unit, but I want to make sure that you have a place to stay and you get a reasonable compensation. Can we work things out together? I know there is a similar unit available for rent, but it would be around $200 more per month. What about I pay you the $2,400 cash now? That will cover you for the whole year. Does that sound fair? You see how a warm negotiation would work so much better than a cold email. In fact, this trick has a 95% success rate. And after you and the tenant have signed the N11 to end the tenancy form, you are free to do whatever you want with the unit. Of course, you will need people skills and negotiation skills to do all of this. Probably, if you don't want to handle any kind of tenant conflict yourself, you can get help from a paralegal or a real estate broker who actually knows what they're doing and who is calm and knows how to talk, not fight. So, I really hope this information is useful, and if you have any questions and want clarifications, please don't hesitate to call me. If you still don't know who I am, just go and check my rating on Google and read my client reviews. Till then, take care. And if you found value or liked this video and would like to see more content, please click on the boxes on the screen. Once again, my name is Preeti Rao. My contact information is in the description box below. Make sure to hit like, share, subscribe, the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to call me because I hold the key that opens the door to your dream home.